Welcome to Golden Speakers Toastmasters of Fairfield, Iowa. I'm Cindy Traynor, Sergeant at Arms, and I warmly welcome all of you, and I'm so happy to see all these wonderful new people that have showed up tonight to see what Toastmasters is all about. Please join me in warmly, that reminds me. I'm glad you've got a message on your cell phone. Please either shut off your phone or put it on vibrate. We don't want to disturb our speakers when they're up front. So now let me welcome our club president, Rhonda Whitaker.
Thank you, Cindy. Cindy is our wonderful Sergeant at Arms. She goes beyond and above the call of duty. My name is, of course, Rhonda Whitaker. I'm not impersonating anyone but myself tonight. You may be wondering what we do here at Toastmasters. We have a reputation for creating leaders in communities. Our club mission is the same club mission as every other club. There are over 150,000 people in Toastmasters worldwide. We have about 14,000 clubs. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and viewers at home. Our club mission is to provide a supportive and positive learning environment, an experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills. This in turn builds self-confidence and personal improvement.
Yo!
I would like to welcome our guests tonight, all of our guests. Actually, we have about 10 or 15 guests tonight. And I'd like to start by asking the cameraman which side of the room he'd like us to start on. Could we start on this side, please, with the row closest to me? If you could just stand up and say your name.
Hello, good night. My name is Christian Martina. I'm an MEM student.
Thank you, Christian. And the gentleman behind?
John Miller.
Thank you, John.
My name is Chen Fei Han. I come from China studying at Milan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Yu Shiwang. I'm from China too, and I'm MUM students.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Mo Yuan, and I'm in communication skills class now. This is my professor.
Thank you, Mama.
And I'm Jane Schmidt-Wilk, and I'm bringing my students tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Now we're going to the next side of the room. This row, second row.
Hi, my name is Manveen. I'm from Dubai, and I'm an MEN student as well.
And Mandy.
Hi, I'm Eva St. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nashon Israel. I'm from Chicago, and I am also an MEN student.
Hello, my name is Dhananjay Ramsmooch. I'm also an MEN student.
Thank you, Dhananjay.
My name is Adam, and I'm from Ethiopia.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mahmoud Ali. I'm also a MEM student.
Thank you. And I think that's all of our guests. Are there any other guests?
Yes, we got one hiding right here.
She really is hiding.
Hi, Melinda. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Let's give them all a hand. Now, please help me welcome our Toastmaster of the evening, Mr. Jeff Shipley.
Yo!
Thank you, Rhonda, for that wonderful articulation of our club's goals and our spirit. And I just wanted to thank you all again, fellow Toastmasters, each of you honored distinguished guests, individually, and the group as a whole, collectively, for what we're going to experience tonight. My job as a Toastmaster, which is pretty much run the meeting along and get down to business. Toastmasters, we have a spirit of being on time for everything, so I will stick to that. So my first role is to introduce the role players for tonight. I want to start with our timer, Stephen Harper.
I'm Stephen Harper. My role tonight is to time the speeches and the evaluations. The first set of speeches, which are called the short table topics speeches, are 1 to 2 minutes. And there's a lighting system here. If you're giving one of these speeches, you'll be given the green light when you've been speaking for 1 minute. You'll be given the yellow light at 1.5 minutes, and the red light at 2 minutes. And I'll leave this on. After 2 minutes, you have 30 seconds after that to finish your speech. If you don't finish and continue longer than 2.5 minutes, then you would be disqualified in the competition for best table topics speech. So we encourage you to, as soon as you see the red light go on, to wrap it up. And then we have one prepared speech tonight, which is 7 to 9 minutes. So the green light will go on at 7, the yellow at 8 minutes, the red light at 9 minutes. The evaluators are 2 to 3 minutes each. So lights go on at 2 minutes, 2.5, and 3 minutes for them. And the table topic speakers need to speak for at least 1 minute to qualify. So keep speaking at least until you see that green light go on if you do a table topic speech. And if you continue talking for too long, then we will applaud you and have the Sergeant at Arms escort you to your seat.
Thank you. All right, now I want to introduce our awe counter for the evening, Ms. Sally Webster.
Yay, Sally.
Yeah.
So I'll be keeping track of the fill-in words such as like, you know, so, but, and, tongue clicks, pauses, Xeroxes, and false starts. And don't take it personally.
Thank you. Now I'd like to bring up Karen Aoki as the grammarian.
Welcome to our guests and our fellow golden speakers. My job as grammarian is to keep track of good usage of English language and improper use of language. Also, we have a word of the day, and I'll be looking for excellent uses of this word. And I selected suspense to go along with the theme of silence or pause. So suspense is a noun. It's a state or feeling of excited or anxious uncertainty, like when you get called on to speak. And the sentence is, expert speakers know how to use pauses to create suspense in a dramatic story. So I'll be listening for uses of suspense.
Okay. Thank you, Karen. All right, also this evening you hear from our general evaluator, Cindy Traynor. Our greeter tonight and the joke master is Monty Congdon. And Arthur, okay, is right there. Yeah, he will be our ballot leader counter. Actually, before we move on, I neglected to mention and draw attention to the theme of the evening. It's Stop and Smell the Roses. I guess I got too hurried away right in the beginning, and I didn't take time to really breathe in and experience or appreciate what Toastmasters is all about. So while we do want to be on time, the theme of the meeting is to take that occasional break and really savor in what we're doing here. And so that's the theme for the evening. I guess I'd like to bring up our table topics master.
All right. Hey, greetings, everyone.
Scott Terry, folks.
Scott Terry, this is me.
Yay.
Who knows? Doesn't matter. We all identify too much
Jeff
with
was
this
building
name
up the
thing.
suspense.
Yeah, suspense. Tonight we have some interesting table topics. Riffing off the theme of the night. Anybody could talk, anybody could participate. What we generally like to do is bring people up who don't have a role first. And guests are more than welcome to come on up. I'm looking around. Who's going to jump up first?
I don't have a role. I'll
Jump on up.
Unless there's a guest. Oh, there's a guest who'd like to go. You go. Sure. Yeah.
Come on up.
Yo!
Stop and smell the roses. I combine that with our next big move, because that's what we're creating now for our Toastmasters, since we're all about to move and create something different for ourselves. Pick a number between 1 and 7.
7.
7! Okay.
Well, between 1 and 7, I have to pick 6, I see.
No, it could be 7.
Or 7?
Yeah. When you were in the circus, and I know you were in the circus for a long time,
Okay.
I thought you were a clown, but at some point you tried the trapeze thing and it didn't work out for you so well. And you got smaller as you ended up being a clown because you kind of crushed what you felt. Never mind, we won't go into that now. So you were in the circus for quite a while, and there was this moment of suspense. A moment before you got on stage, a moment before you created your next big thing, your next big move. I want you to just take a moment and tell us, what did you stop and smell the roses and breathe in that space, or bring to this space today where you're at in your life, that awareness, to create your next big move? You did
Fine.
Okay.
Thank you, Scott, and fellow Toastmasters, and all of you out there in TV land. I feel in suspense as I try to recall the last time I was in a circus. Scott seems to recall that better than I do. So I should ask Scott to deliver this talk for me tonight. Would you do so, Scott? The last time I was in a circus and I was feeling suspense was in terms of the act I was about to perform, was when I was on the flying trapeze. My partner was on the other side of the big circus tent. I was supposed to go on my swing and she would go on her swing in the middle of the circus tent. Then we would release our swings, grab onto the other person's swing and go back, landing on the platform where each of us began our routine. I'm sure you're wondering how the event actually transpired. I stood there looking at her, waiting for a signal from her that she was comfortable with releasing her platform and going across to exchange swings. I waited a little bit longer. It created a moment of suspense. In fact, I'm still waiting for her to give the signal.
Next. Diane,
I
jump
don't
on
I
up.
don't have a job tonight, so.
Okay. Number 2, good choice. Let's take a moment and appreciate this space. These people that we've created together, that you've created in your mind, that we've all created with you. And think what you'd like to create next possible for your Toastmasters experience. If you could create anything, not just the typical go down the road and get some more people or do some more things, but if you could create anything you wanted for this to be, what would you create it to be?
Toastmasters.
Toastmasters. Or some deviation thereof.
Thank you. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters guests, or guests and the viewers at home. I'm just going to tell it like it is. I am not a creator. Or at least that's how I see myself. So when you ask that question, I think, create Toastmasters. It's already created, and we have our agenda, and we have our roles. And I'm the type of person that just kind of morphs into what's happening in an organization like this. So it's a very interesting question for me, because that isn't what I do in life. I kind of take what's already happening and then make that work. I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying that's wrong. That just is what is for me. So I'm really good at working in a system, and then if I get somewhat creative within that system, then I feel really creative. That's it. Thank you, Scott.
Diane will be working on learning to create more for herself later. We will have some therapy sessions about this. Who's next? Come on, some of you guests here, you're looking at me, you're wanting. So, no, she's laughing. Oh, he's laughing. Oh, he's looking. Come.
Can you make this question a little shorter and simpler?
We'll work
because
on
of the
that.
language
Yes.
barriers?
Oh.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Christian?
You can sidestep his question.
You could sidestep my question, and you could take up to 30 seconds to think about the question before you create your next question. Okay? Art, come on on. Sir, which number would you like? 1 to 7?
5.
5. All right, since you don't have language issues, I'll give you the full question.
Je parle très petit peu.
Excellent, excellent choice. Re-envisioning some place where you, where where all of us, where you've gotten stuck in the past. Okay? And I want you to think where you could have taken a breath, smelled the roses, and created something bigger for yourself, your next big move. Or think of it for us, what we could, where we got stuck in this world, and we could have created our next big move.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. Good evening, Toastmasters. And delightful to see so many guests. And viewers at home, you're missing out. When I think about occasions on which I got stuck, what came to mind first was something that my fellow member Carol may appreciate. I played bassoon in college, and in high school and in college. And I was playing in wind quintets and other chamber music ensembles as often as I could manage, which was all the time. Wasn't doing much in my major, I was always over in the music department playing. And I gave a recital and was a solo performer, and I had an ongoing problem, and it really got me stuck during the recital, and the problem was having a dry mouth. Couldn't get any spittle up, and you have to keep that reed properly moist for the thing to play. You know what I'm talking about. But if you're nervous and scared, the dry mouth, that was what was happening for me. Now, did I stop and smell the roses? No, I'm afraid to say I didn't. I sort of pushed through the whole experience, had a little bit of water with lemon juice nearby, and made a muddle of what could have been a much better recital. Because I hadn't stopped to smell the roses and be really fully present. That in my mind is really the crux of this smelling the roses admonition. And that is that when
when we're here, let's be fully here. It's about being present, not worrying about what did I do in the past that didn't work out well, or worrying about what may not happen right in the future. And I was worrying during this performance about what's going to happen in the next piece or in the next measure. I was all out of being present. So my advice to anybody who's learning to smell the roses is take the opportunities at least once a day to just be fully present where you are. Enjoy what it is that you're doing. If it's 10-degree weather, celebrate that it isn't 2 degrees below zero. Mr. Table Topics Master.
That's it. We're ready for round 2, which is the talk.
No.
No. We're gonna vote first. So, Mr. Timer, did everyone qualify?
John Miller and Diane Denbaum qualified, and Art smelled the roses a little too long.
All right, let's take a moment and vote, and then we will collect your ballots in a moment. All right, I am now calling up the evaluator, which will be Will Burns for Jyoti Roth's wonderful talk.
Thank you, Scott. I will now start doing the table topics evaluation of the 3 speakers.
Totally off. Okay.
Starting off with John, I like how you came up here as a guest and you thanked the audience. You had a good use of humor. And I like that you were able to roll with Scott's question and create a description of you and your partner getting ready to exchange swings. And you had a good use of a pause in there. The only thing I could suggest for you would be to take advantage of that grace period at the start to kind of think about it, because you had a really good body there, and that pause was a great setup for you. But I feel like you kind of just sort of tapered off at the end a little bit. Diane, I like that you had the statement, came out here confidently and said, "I'm not a creator." I also like that you did this really nice thing where you said, now this way is not right or wrong, using both hands to kind of illustrate that. I felt like that was a very good job. But my advice to you is actually the same, to take that time, that 30 seconds, and it's a long time that you actually have to collect your thoughts, think about what you want to say, and then kind of leave us with the powerful thing. Art, you came up here, you thanked us for our presence. I like how when you were talking about being nervous in chamber singers, you were behind the lectern here, and you actually took a step back to kind of show us that fear in a way of the audience. In your experience. And I liked how you actually came out in front afterward when you're talking about the next stage. The only suggestion I have for you would be you make it a little more clear, this dichotomy, or this duality between being nervous and behind, and then coming out in front and being more fully realized. With that, I'll call Jeff Shipper.
Cool.
Thank you everyone who participated in the table topics portion of our meeting. Moving right along, I'd like to bring up Alex Sakea to introduce our main speaker tonight.
All right, thank you, Jeff. All right, this portion of the meeting we usually have several prepared speeches. Today we have only one, so no pressure. It's gonna be awesome, I know. Jyoti Raj Adhikar has been a member of Golden Speakers Toastmasters for about 3 years. He is an MUM graduate. He works in town. He is revisiting the Competent Communicator Manual series. That's this manual right here. It has the first 10 speeches that you would give. And he is doing project number 3 in the manual, which is called Get to the Point. The title of his speech is "You Are Already Wealthy, I Will Teach You to Become Rich." Please welcome Jody.
First, I would like to ask you a question. How many of you want to become rich?
Why not?
All of us. That's what I thought. So we all of us want to be rich. Rich in a sense, financially independent. What is financially independent? It is you work not for the survival. You work for fun. You have some source of income which can pay all your bills, and you go to your work freely without any tension. Go to work, work it. Don't worry about your bills. Don't worry about all those payments you have to make tomorrow, today evening. Don't worry about anything. That is what, in my sense, rich means. And wealthy? I think we all are wealthy. Wealth is what we have all around. We are very wealthy people. We have libraries with all these books. We have schools with all this knowledge teachers. We have good people around us. We have machines, man, and we have internet and everything. So that is wealth. If we can use that and transform it to the money machine, we'll be rich. But here I am telling you about how you can become rich, how you can become financially independent. It is not like one day task, you start typing in internet and getting money. It's a process. It's a process. You start now and slowly you become rich. So this is the steps. I have some steps, and if you follow it, after a few years, you will find you rich, financially independent. The first thing, whatever you earn, you may earn $10 an hour, $15, $20, whatever you earn, you start saving. Whatever you earn. If you earn $10, start saving $1 an hour. If not possible, 50 cents an hour. If not possible, 25 cents an hour. You keep saving. Save it first before you make any expense. So that is called a principle of pay yourself first. You have to pay yourself first and then pay somebody else. Save it. Keep saving. If you save $20, $100 a month when you are 20, and if you want to take out your money at the age of 65 at a 10% interest, it will be $1,050,000. So that's the power of compounding. The second thing, you save it. Not only save it, it doesn't mean to put it somewhere in current account, current bank account. You invest it. First pay yourself, save it, and then invest it. Invest it somewhere where it can earn you money, where it can earn you income. So how do you invest? Where do you invest? That's the question, which I'll cover a little bit later. The first thing, you save. Second thing, you invest. Third thing, you start just not saving and investing at once. What you do is you set aside a portion of that money for your contingencies. Let's say you're working today and start saving money. After 6 months, something happens and you lose your job. Then you have to take out those investments, break those investments, and use them for your living. Not to happen this, to prevent this, you have some money
kept aside for your contingencies use. So how would you do that? Let's say you are saving $100 a month. Put a portion of that every month till you reach your goal. You need at least 3 to 6 months of your saving. That much of expenses. Let's say you have $2,000 a month of your total living expense. Save at least like 10,000, 8 to 10,000, till you reach your goal of 10 to 8,000. Keep saving a portion for your contingencies. Don't keep that money in the same pot. I mean, you are investing the main portion and keep the small amount in your saving where you can liquidate as and when you want. You can invest it in treasury bills, which is for 4 to 6 weeks treasury bills. You can purchase other government bonds, or you can save it in money market account. But money market account nowadays gives just 0.5% to 1%, so that is not good. But you can invest in treasury bills and bonds, which give you 1 to 2%. And 3 things you did. The 4 things. If you have a credit card debt, you are saving this hand. In this hand you have a credit card debt. You are paying 90 to 25%, 19% to 25% in your credit card, and you are saving and getting 4, 5, 6% investment. So if you have open credit cards and you are saving, you match it up, you are negative. So what you have to do, when you start saving, the first thing, you are investing. Second thing, you are keeping a portion of money for the contingency. Third thing, a portion of money every time you are paying to credit card. You are reducing your credit card debt. Somebody tells you, there are a lot of people who believe that first you have to close all your credit cards and then start investing, because you are paying 19% and here you are getting 4%, so it's not beneficial. So first close your credit card debt and then start investing. That will not work, because you want to see the progress. When you see a chunk of money here, like $10,000, even if you have $20,000 credit, you will be happy looking at this part. Human nature. You will forget the debt when you see this chunk of money here. I have the money. So that philosophy works. So you need that money. And fourth and very important thing is make your investment or saving automatic. If you can do that directly from your paycheck, tell your employer to deposit to 2 accounts. Deposit, if you are earning $1,000 of paycheck after tax, ask him to deposit $900 in your main account and $100 to a different account in different bank where you will not daily visit. And you don't have that online account. Don't open online account in that part if you don't want. So don't check that, how much I have. Don't get this debit card or ATM card for that account. Keep it safe. So transfer that directly. And make it automatic in that case, and if not possible, make automatic transfer from your main bank every month or every 15 days. And from that, your investment account, which, not investment account, but the saving account which you open for the investment purpose, from that also make the automatic investment. Make it like 3 months, 6 months, arrange with the bank that they can invest to your investment account directly. Where do you invest? So what investment account I am talking about? So there are a lot of financial institutions. There are online institutions where you can go online and see, like E-Trade, TD Ameritrade, a lot of this financial institution which do the investment, which works as a portfolio manager for you. They have the investment option where you can invest. So make it automatic. So if you keep on investing like this for a while, for 10 years, 15 years, consistent amount, you have enough money to pay you later on after a few years. That interest, that income will pay all your bills, and you not worry about your work. You need not worry about your bills. Then you are a rich man. Thank you.
Thank you, Yoshi. We'll now take 2 minutes to evaluate the speaker. All right, welcome back. Now we'll move on to our evaluation section of the meeting, and I'd like to call up our general evaluator, Ms. Cindy Trainer. I'm sorry about that. I wanted to.
I'm so accustomed to this club having more than one speech, I totally lost my place of what was happening. Okay, lesson learned, be attentive. As the general evaluator, it is the GE's responsibility for running the evaluation section of the meeting. I'd like to call up our one speech evaluator. Please warmly welcome Alex Sican.
This is going quick. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, and viewers at home, and especially Jyoti. Where you at? Okay. So my job is to evaluate Jyoti's speech. I thought you did an excellent job, and I have a lot of notes here, as you can see, so you'll get to read most of them later. I will just touch on a couple of points. First of all, what I liked. I thought your whole speech was very practical, very informative content. It was well organized. You had point after point, and you had examples after each point, each sub-point. You started your speech by involving the audience with a question, which is a good way to start a speech. And I thought you had very good use of your hands to explain concepts. At one point you said, you have this here, you have this here, and you match them up, and they're negative. I mean, those little things really help visually convey the content that you want. I thought that you spoke very slowly and calmly, which made it easier to understand you. Sometimes in previous speeches, I feel like your accent is very strong, and if you get nervous and speak too fast, I have a little bit of trouble understanding you. I thought you did a really good job by being very deliberate and slow and speaking very calmly. That was fantastic. A couple of suggestions. I thought there was a little bit of pacing here. You spend most of your speech in this area, and you would make a point here, and then you would kind of move as you were making another point, and then you would kind of move over here. And I thought it became a little bit distracting. It was a little bit of pacing, not much. It's easy to correct. Along the same lines, I thought you could have used the stage a little more deliberately. It helps to create a point in a specific part of the stage, and every time you refer to that point, just refer to this space on the stage, because then the audience just kind of anchors that space and associates it with that point. So one of your first points was pay yourself first. So this could be pay yourself first, right? And then save money. And as you're talking, you can say, and then later when you want to buy a house and you've paid yourself first, you can reference the other points that you've made. Just point at the space, and automatically the audience would associate that space with the point that you made. And how am I doing on time? Okay. And along that same line, I thought you could have been at the front a little bit more. You didn't really use your notes, or at least I didn't see you use your notes, so you didn't need them. You could have been up here just talking to us. Okay. So, but overall, I think you did an excellent job, and I look forward to more.
Yo! Thank you, Alex. We have two evaluators, the table topics evaluator, who was this evening? Will Burns. So Stephen, could you tell us, do both evaluators
Yes, they do.
are in time, so please, they both qualify, thank you. So please tear off a piece of your ballot and vote for either Will Burns or Alex Sakea. Okay, welcome back. Thank you for your ballots and voting for the best evaluator. Moving on, I'd like to have reports from our role players. Let's start with our timers, Stephen and Harper.
Someone's making a pointer.
Yes, that happens after all the rolls have been. Excuse me. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay. So John Miller spoke for 1 minute and 56 seconds. Diane Denbaum, 1 minute and 8 seconds. Art Atkinson, 2 minutes, 38 seconds. Jyoti Raj, 9 minutes and 18 seconds. Will Burns, 2 minutes and 19 seconds. And Alex Sakea, 3 minutes and 3 seconds.
Yeah. Right, Steve. Thank you, Stephen. Next, we'll have a report from the odd counter, Sally Webster. Thank you, Sally.
Thank you. I have Jeff as 2 ahs, 1 so, 4 ands, and 2 false starts. Stephen, 5 ahs, 1 like, 3 so's, 5 ands, 2 xeroxes. Karen, 1 like, 1 and. Cindy, 1 like, 1 false start. Art, 1 you know, 9 ands, 2 false starts. Scott, 1 ah, 1 xerox, 2 false starts. Will, 1 you know, 5 ands, 7 false starts. Alex, 8 ahs, 3 ums, 4 so's, 1 but, 10 ends, 1 xerox, and 1 false start. I said please don't take this personally. Jyoti, 2 likes, 1 so, 6 ends, 3 xeroxes, 3 false starts. Our guest, Mr. Miller, 1 ah, 1 so, 1 end. Diane, table topic speaker, 2 ends and 1 false start.
Thank you very much, Sally. Congratulations on your supreme listening skill. Very well done. Very well done.
Can I ask for guests, what is a false start and what is a Xerox?
Yeah.
A false start is when someone starts to say something and hesitates, or they say, well, a Xerox would be, I said, when they repeat themselves, they repeat a word or multiple words twice or 3 times in a row. A false start could be something not exactly a stutter, but close to. Is that comprehensible, what I just said? Okay. And the role of the ah counter is to bring attention to the words we use as filler words. If a person has, when they begin a sentence with the word and, it links the 2 sentences together and creates a run-on or, drawn out multiple sentences. When, if they don't use an and, you have a stopping point. You don't say and this. You just start with your next sentence instead of putting an and in the front. And the popular one is so. Other filler words are when people are making sounds when they're thinking, but they're making sounds out loud when they're thinking of what they're going to say next. That's also called a filler word or a filler sound. And the ah counter role is to call attention to that so that people hopefully will learn to drop those and get rid of them, and it makes them a more vibrant and creative speaker. Our next role we're going to hear from is Karen Aoki, and she's doing the grammarian role. Please warmly welcome Karen.
So I looked at examples of good language, and Bart is a good example of someone who uses words that are easily understandable, but not boring. One of my favorite phrases from his talk today was the crux of this savor the rose aphorism. So he used crux and aphorism. He's a great example of someone who uses a little bit outside the standard vocabulary, but not so technical or so advanced that we can't follow him. Another good use of English language is the use of direct contrasts. And Will gave one example of this. He contrasted standing behind the podium for nervousness and getting in front for self-realization. So that would be an example of using opposites to illustrate a point. Jyoti would check for pronunciation on a couple words. I didn't get them all, but I think financial was one. Otherwise, I was very impressed with the quality of your speech, the pacing, and the articulation. Very clearly articulated words. There are just some pronunciation words, and maybe Alex took notice on those. And our winner for the word of the day is John Miller. I think he used suspense 3 or 4 times as he stood in suspense. And Alex, the final one, you used this anchor your point. So you have very colorful language. You have a very easy manner with which you speak and engage the audience. And back to Cindy.
Thank you. Cindy. We're going to have a little fun here. Let's warmly welcome our greeter and joke master, Monty Condon.
Yo!
How are you going to, what joke are you going to entertain us
We'll see. We'll
tonight?
see. You see, here at Toastmasters, we're not just sticklers for time or for structure. We also like to have fun. So the greeter also functions as a joke master. So the joke I have for you today is actually a story that started this weekend. This weekend I caught up with an old friend. His name is Greg. We've actually, we spent some time together in the service. I hadn't seen him for about 3 or 4 years. And so we met up and we were having lunch and we're chit-chatting. And I found out from him that his life's going pretty well. He's out of the Army now like me. And he's back in college. I'm like, really, Greg? You're back in college? So what are you doing? He says, well, I'm majoring in psychology now. I'm going up at U of I, and they have a good psychology program there. I'm like, well, that's great. You always had an interest in psychology. I'm glad that you're doing that. I'm like, well, how's it going? And he said, well, not too great. I'm not learning that much. I'm like, I was a bit surprised because I was like, I thought Iowa had a pretty good psychology program. And he said, he looked at me sort of sheepishly, and he said, well, it's sort of my fault. I'm like, well, why is it your fault? And he said, well, I'm double majoring. Double majoring, so it's the workload. He says, no, it's not that. And I was like, well, what's your other major? And he said, reverse psychology.
What is that? 1 step forward, 1 step back, 1 step forward, 1 step back. All right. Now it's time for the general evaluator to evaluate the evaluators.
Oh my gosh.
Oh goodness, yes. I only have 2. I'm lucky tonight. So I want to congratulate Will Burns for coming out in front of the lectern. And actually you gave lots of positive feedback to your table topic speakers. You gave each speaker an idea to think about for improvement. You addressed the speaker directly, which was great. sometimes people will talk about what the table topic speaker did, but sometimes they wander over to the other side of the room and table topic person is over here that you're speaking about. And maybe they might feel a little ignored. Well, you may ignore the other side of the room, but I like it when you direct and have good eye contact with the table topic speaker. You demonstrated your part about using the lectern, like they said, there's the word like, I use that as a filler word. Coming out in front or staying behind, and you demonstrated that. It's always good to show what you're talking about. I didn't find anything that I could add to what you already told people, so I don't have any suggestions for you for improvement right now, because I think you did a very good job. On to Alex. You did a very thorough job of evaluation. He mentioned that he took lots of notes for his speaker to read and review later. You mentioned gestures, and I happened to be writing furiously when you were demonstrating the gestures, but I knew you were doing them, and that was a good thing to do to reinforce what Jyoti Raj had done well with his gestures, was that you repeated what he had done. And you demonstrated making points on stage, like save for yourself, and then save for your future, and then the other parts that Jyoti did, and then of course the gesture about referring back to. So you demonstrated what you were also talking about, which is also very good to do. You gave 3 or 4 points for Jyoti for improvement. Now I know Jyoti's been in Toastmasters for quite a while, so it's okay. If it's a brand new speaker, you may want to consider not giving so many points for improvement, maybe just focus on 1, especially if they were an icebreaker, and I think you'd probably do that anyway. But Jyoti's been here for a while, so he's got a little, tougher skin. He can handle it. So that's the only suggestion I have for you, Alex. So thank you very much for giving, and you too, Will, for giving your evaluations tonight. Now I'd like to turn the lectern back over to our Toastmaster, Josh Shipley.
Thank you very much, Cindy, for that wonderful evaluation portion of the meeting. I'd like to take a moment to confer with my ballot counter. Thank you. All right, so we have some awards to give tonight. All right, for our table topics, the best table topic speaker was John Miller. This trophy for a week, and then you can enjoy this ribbon for as long as you like.
Wow.
Thank you. All right, and our best speaker this evening, that would go to Jyoti Raj Adhikari. Thank you very much for your speech tonight. And speech 3, getting to the point.
Thank you.
All right, then let's hear it for our best evaluator this evening. That would be Alex. Thank you for your evaluation. All right, now tonight is a special meeting. We're going to have a business portion of the meeting now. Is that what we're not to?
You just call me up and I'll tell you.
Okay, all right. Well, I'd like to warmly welcome back our exquisite president, Rhonda Whitaker.
Yo!
Hi, wonderful. Thank you, Jeff. Wonderful table topics. Oops. Okay, off on a tangent. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. We have ribbons for our guests tonight. It's called Welcome to Toastmasters, where leaders are made. I'd like to pass these out. You can each take one. Would you pass them out on that side? Karen, pass them out on the other side.
You win. You win. You really win. You really win.
You get a ribbon.
And you win.
Thank you.
Everybody gets it. Everybody wins that. And you're going on a trip to... Okay, thanks, Dad.
Okay, I think everybody has their welcome ribbon. Now, I would like to give our guests a chance to stand up and offer something they learned in Toastmasters tonight, something they liked about the meeting, only if they want to. So this is up to you, it's your personal choice. If you have something you'd like to say about the meeting, we'll start on this side of the room. And do I have any guests on this side that would like to say something, offer anything tonight? John?
Thanks for the chance to come here and participate. It was a very warm experience. I'm impressed with everyone's professional manner, and I look forward to returning.
Thank you, John.
Great.
Okay, let's go to this side of the room and see if any of our guests would like to say anything before they leave tonight. Anything is fine. Okay, we don't have anyone that wants to say anything. Kat's got the tongue. However, maybe next time. Come back again. You're welcome to visit any time. Now, we're going to give you the opportunity to leave before we have a 20-minute business meeting. And I think you'll probably take it because it's such a cold night.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.